Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome here, actually. I think this is probably the first time you guys have seen some of the shop. We're still finishing it up, but until then, we wanted to show you some sweet parts we have available right now, because look, they're right in front of me. No back orders, they're right here. So today we're going over the top 5 parts that we're excited about right now. Some are things that you've probably seen before and have been out for a while. Other ones are a little bit newer, so let's check it out. We're gonna start in no particular order with the Cobb access ports. So these are pretty essential to any Subaru enthusiast nowadays. Cobb has done a fantastic job. When I first started getting into Subarus, they had just released the V2, which I thought was like the coolest looking Game Boy I've ever played with. V1s were very analog, but the new V3s are like incredible. These are your little friend to performance. So what this offers first off is it's a way to tune your car, either using one of the Cobb included off-the-shelf maps, or you can either run another tuner's map, or on top of that, get Dyno Tune or Pro Tune with this. This connects to your car's OBD2 port, and it allows you to make adjustments to the factory computer. So things that your tuner or the map does, it increases boost pressure, it plays with the timing, it looks at other factors, fueling, and adjusts those. The big thing with the factory tunes, it's very safe, which is good, and this still is too, we'll get to that in a minute. But it also looks at like fuel economy, it looks at a lot of other factors that the EPA and other regulators need them to have. This is EPA compliant, which is awesome, but it allows you to make those alterations in order to improve your car's performance based on either the mods that you have or the goals that you're looking for. In order to set this up is very simple. We are gonna do a guide on setting up your access port with our tuner, K-Nasty. This is a great way to unlock performance, or if you just want to be able to monitor your car a little closer, you can just use this with the factory tune once you install it, and you can actually monitor literally a list of different parameters. So you can look at your boost, you can look at your DAM, which everyone always monitors, Find Knock Learn, all sorts of other stuff as far as like being paranoid. But on top of that, you can also look at like your AFRs, temperatures. There's just literally a plethora of different monitors that your car has that you're able to see the actual numbers on this. You could set up the gauges to only monitor like 1 or 2 things. You can monitor up to 6. It's just a really great way to, like I said, unlock the performance. This is really like the key through the door for more performance, if you will. So it comes with some cool stuff, some literature. You also do have the little Cobb mount. And then if you want to do like a little customization, you can actually get different face covers for the access port. So if you have like a carbon fiber theme to your car, if you have like a red theme or whatever, you can get different covers or have people paint or hydro dip or other stuff like that. So this is a great way to do that. Once again, I am going to say it does come with Cobb off-the-shelf maps, but you can dyno tune, and that's really where I think this thing shines, is when you have a Pro Tune. This is really their ability to get into your car and make those adjustments possible. Other features the access port has, for certain cars, you can do flat foot shifting. So that's when you're driving the car full out. You don't have to take your foot off the gas in between shifts. You can literally just set your foot on the gas pedal and never lift it. When it sees the clutch depress, it's going to limit the amount of fuel that it's putting into the car, the rev, so you don't like bounce off the rev limiter. So that's cool. And then you also, for certain cars, can do launch control. So with that, same thing. You put your foot all the way to the floor, your foot is depressed on the clutch. It's gonna limit, based on what you want it to, a certain amount of RPMs in order for you to launch the car and do fun burnout stuff. And yeah, access port is really like this is the first thing that I would typically recommend people start with if they want to start modifying their car for performance. Next up, everyone's favorite, PGBs. IAG has been around for years. I had them build my car like 8 years ago, but they have really broken through a lot of different performance, and I would say like shattered the ceiling for what Subarus can do reliably. So this is another part that's just going to help open up the flow of air into your motor to be able to produce more power. The more fuel, the more air that goes through the motor, the faster it's going to spool up and make power. So these are TGVs from the factory on your car, are going to have little valves inside of them. So these are the V3. Typically in the past, TGVs would be called TGV deletes. So it would delete that flapper system because it's just an obstruction in this air passage into the engine. But because of regulations, EPA stuff, and all sorts of fun stuff, TGV deletes are not something that they want to have happen. A lot of the codes that you can turn off in order to run TGV deletes are no longer available. This retains that TGV system from your factory, but it's ported out in a certain way where these actually make more power than the V2, which was a deleted flapper version. So this is a great way. If you already have an intake, you have a bigger intercooler, this may be a choke point for your car to be able to make that top end power. So this is a great thing to include on your build. And then on top of it, like I said, you're not gonna be breaking any laws or having any codes pop up with these. So these are awesome. These are available in multiple finishes. I love the black. They just look outstanding. And then also you can bolt up aftermarket fuel rails or factory ones or whatever you wanna do. It's a really cool option if you wanna really get the most out of your motor. All right, we are going on to everyone's favorite. This is probably one of IAG's, actually, I know for a fact it's IAG's top product for Subarus, their air oil separator. This is something we talked about, the Cobb access port really being the key to performance and the first step in order to unlock your car's potential. This is going to be a great way to improve your car's reliability, performance as well. But a lot of tuners require you to have an air oil separator before they'll tune their car. We'll talk about why in just a minute after I show you guys this Goliath of a thing. All right, so this looks like a squid, but let me tell you what this does. So with Subaru, horizontal motor, all that fun stuff, what can cause upon combustion is oil vapors are created. The oil vapors, the TGV system is sucking those vapors out of the crankcase, the engine, but it uses the intake to suck those out. When the oil vapors are introduced back into the car's intake system, that can create knock. So how it does that is the oil vapors mixing with your fuel actually lowers your octane that's combusting, causing pre-detonation and creating knock. Knock's bad for your piston rings as well as rod wear over time. This is a great way to ensure that your car is not knocking, running lean. This hooks up to your car's factory breather system and just filters that air out before it reaches your intake tract. The other cool thing is competitors' versions of this, sometimes they would get condensation in the air oil separator. It would freeze, it would cause some issues. So what IAG did was they actually run a coolant line through this. It helps that condensation not freeze, which would be bad. This is a great, really reliability and performance upgrade for your car. It's just gonna help make sure that your engine is running the healthiest it can, which I own a Subaru, we all do. It's good to have reliability on the top of mind when you do this stuff. That comes in multiple colors as well, multiple vehicle years. They do even make a universal kit. So if you don't have one that they make a kit for, you can still run one of their air oil separators. And like I said, it is at this point really a must-have for Subaru owners. So on to the new products. Right here, we got the Parin Intake for the 2022 WRX. So we got a bunch of other fun stuff here from Parin. They send you a plate frame as well as the hardware kit. It's got a nice little pack list of what's included on there. We have their oiled air filter, definitely comes pre-oiled. And we have the intake. With an intake, why do you have an intake? So typically in the past, air intakes would have a larger diameter intake pipe in order to introduce more air to the engine, like we talked about the TGVs, more air, more fuel, more bang. But with this one, this actually has the factory diameter. So the cool thing about this is you don't need a tune in order to run it. Is getting a tune with this going to be better? Yes. Anytime, even the factory car, if you get a dyno tune that's made for your car or even an off-the-shelf map, it is gonna increase, like we talked about, those certain parameters that will help increase performance. If you have an intake, I would recommend getting a tune, but you don't need one for this kit, which is great. So why run an intake in the first place? Well, I think a big part of tuning nowadays, it's not just the power increases, it's the overall experience in the car. So with the factory air intake, there's a lot of different chambers and filters and stuff like that that can really decrease a lot of the turbo noise. So with a air intake like this, where it's just a filter direct to the turbo, you're gonna get a lot more of those spoolie noises, it's gonna sound like a blow-off valve, to be honest with you, if you haven't experienced one or very similar. It's gonna give you more of that turbo noise that you want. This does increase power. I think Junior tuned one the other day at Prime Motoring and it made like 320 horsepower just with the intake, which is a huge improvement. You're gonna get a lot more noise, the experience is gonna be better, and it does increase performance. Over the factory, it's debatable. I think a lot of people say that air intakes don't make any difference at all. But like I said, if you want a better overall experience with more turbo noise, more spoolie bits, this is a great upgrade to make for your car. So these are available for the 2022 WRX. Parin does make intakes for pretty much every year Subaru, but we do have these in stock. We have black and the neon yellow. turbo, and we do have some of the red as well as the hyper pink coming in very soon. All right, the last thing I want to talk about with this is we do have power packages available on our website. We have those for the 08 and up Subaru WRX and the 08 to 21 STI. So what's that comprised of is we had our world-renowned tuner, Junior Tune, create these packages with his preferred air intakes, his pretty much preferred parts, as well as an access port and his specific tune for those. So if you want to upgrade your 2022 WRX's components, get a little more power, and have that noise, I would definitely check out the Stage 1. You can choose the Parin Intake with the access port and his tune, or you can choose the Cobb intake. And I think we also have the ETS one up on there now, so check that out. All right, last part, and this is probably it's the coolest looking one, let's be honest. Ray Motorsports is actually local to us. So I actually first saw Ray's posts probably about a year ago, the titanium work and the other welding work that she does. Her parts just look absolutely phenomenal. Like I've really never seen a lot of titanium parts with either the finish options or being like the first, I think she's probably one of the first, if not the first, charge pipe upgrades for the 22 WRX. So I was really excited to see those parts, and then I realized maybe 5 minutes later that she's actually like maybe like a 20-minute drive from us right now. So we talked to her about carrying her products. She was stoked to have us. I'm hoping to get her in the shop here and do some footage for you guys, some content as well. This is the very first charge pipe that we got from her. We have many more on the way, and we also have some alternator shrouds as well. But yeah, let's open this up. I want to show this to you guys. It is, like I said, very cool and also does increase performance. So win-win, right? This is titanium. Titanium is very light. It has a very cool finish, especially when you weld it. And then on top of that, it definitely doesn't like finger oils. So I would recommend wearing gloves when you're handling this part to install it. Obviously the engine is full of like oil and stuff like that, and you might be touching, or people might be touching your intake. If you like put detail spray on it, it just soaks the oils up. But rest assured, it's very easy to clean. If you just use a little bit of acetone on a rag and just wipe it off, literally everything comes off of it. It's really awesome. So, ooh, baby. Ooh, buddy. I actually haven't opened one of these yet. She packages these very nice. We have a bunch of Tycon brand, which is some bougie stuff. Clamps, we got some silicone hoses from Tycon. This is really the creme de la creme, and look at that. I might steal this. You guys might not get this in your intake charge pipe. Sorry about that, but some hardware and then some fall merch. Here it is. It's definitely covered in wrap. Give me just a moment. We'll speed this up. This is the burnt titanium finish with zebra welds. So zebra welds are going to be, she tacks the pipe in place, all the pie cuts, anodizes the whole thing, and then goes over it and welds them shut. So you get a very nice, all these are one-off pieces really. Obviously she makes these on a jig, so they fit very consistently. But as far as the finish goes, once again, it's really made to order, which is really cool. It's very hard to find that nowadays, especially in a performance piece of this quality. But yeah, this thing is beautiful. What this does is it joins the turbo compressor outlet to your intercooler. So air goes from the intake into the turbo through this into your intercooler, and an intercooler into your intake manifold. Typically factory charge pipes, there are gonna be little parts of them that have either dimples or they're gonna be constricted in order to get around other engine components. I know with my GR Corolla, we did a charge pipe and it is much larger than the factory. So once again, it's just about efficiency. It's getting air from the turbo into the motor as smoothly and efficiently as possible. And this helps with that. And let me tell you, it also helps your car look really fancy. Logo up top there. Yeah, this thing just looks incredible. So performance, looks, it's got them both. We do have these in a few other colors as well, like retro blue, burnt blue. She has some proprietary names for the finishes, but yeah, we have a couple more of these in the works. Some have the zebra welds, some don't. But yeah, if you're looking, definitely check out the website and see which one. Like I said, we're gonna have these in stock. Typically, all of our stuff is made to order, so it's like 6 to 8 weeks for certain parts. I think these are around that, or 4 to 6. But we're gonna have some of these in stock, and yeah, she does a fantastic job with these. They look awesome. Cool, so I'm gonna wrap this back up as well as wrap up this video. Thank you guys for checking this out. If you have questions about these, comment below or go ahead and give us a call. We have a phone number, that's pretty cool, huh? Or an email. As far as these parts, you can get these on sale right now. It's Black Friday 2023 if you weren't aware. Right now, this very instant you're watching this, all the Cobb parts, anything including the access port is 10% off. We have Parin stuff at 10% off. IAG starting next Monday, which is the 20th of November, is gonna have every part 15% off except short blocks, case halves, and cylinder heads. events, those are gonna be 10% off. Still a sale, pretty cool. We have a bunch of other stuff on sale, ETS, Aeroflow Dynamics, our own stuff, Circuit Demon stuff, so check that out. We also have those power packages at 10% off, and we're running some labor specials if you wanna get parts installed that you purchased from us here. So check those out, appreciate it. If you guys are looking for us to do anything else with different parts you've seen, please let us know. We'd love to film some more. Until then, get to shopping, boys and girls. Whee!